The latest swirl of diplomatic activity surrounding Ukraine has produced a curious phrase, a reassurance force, a peacekeeping contingent that might emerge under the terms of a Trump-brokered deal for Ukraine. On the surface, it sounds like a stabilizing gesture, Western boots on the ground deterring Russia from renewed aggression. But one has to ask, reassurance for whom? For Ukraine? Or for Donald Trump's political narrative and for his aims to get the Nobel Peace Prize? The media now insists that only Trump's deal offers Ukraine the chance to avoid defeat. That, I would argue, is propaganda designed to press President Zelensky into capitulation. Russia is grinding forward slowly, very slowly, at immense cost and at wasting considerable lives, and credible reports suggest that Vladimir Putin is running out of both money and men. A stalemate is one thing, collapse is another. To speak already of Ukraine's defeat is premature and suspiciously convenient to those who want a quick deal and a Nobel Peace Prize. Now, what would a peacekeeping force mean in practice? Europe is floating the idea of several thousand soldiers stationed on Ukrainian soil, and that would not be combat troops on the front line, but trainers, logisticians, perhaps a tripwire presence. Such a force would require clear rules of engagement, and here history gives us reasons for caution. In Bosnia in the 1990s, UN and NATO troops were humiliated as Serb militias violated ceasefires and used proxy fighters to evade accountability. Does anyone seriously think Russia would behave with more scruples? If anything, Moscow has perfected that art. Deniable units, puppet militias, cyber interference. Deniable units. Isn't that how Crimea was taken in the first place? All designed to slip through the cracks of international law. The Wagner Brigade. Trump, of course, refuses to rule out American boots on the ground, though his instinct is to make Europe bear the burden. Britain, Germany, France all talk of responsibility, while Italy and Poland already hint they would stay out. So we face the prospect of a coalition of the semi-willing cobbling together a force that risks becoming symbolic rather than decisive. And then there's the issue of guarantees. Trump and his allies are dressing up these plans as Article 5 style commitments, as if Ukraine were to be given NATO's sacred pledge. But what precisely will be guaranteed? If the West ends up protecting a line that hands Putin the Donbass, then we will not be guaranteeing peace, we'll be underwriting Ukraine's defeat. Worse, we will be allowing Russia to regroup, rearm and come back in 2 or 3 years, even closer to Kyiv than they were before. It would be Munich 1938 all over again, with peacekeepers sent to police the fruits of aggression. And this is why I would urge caution. Ukraine has insisted on 2 fundamentals: a strong national army and no concessions of land beyond the present occupation. These are not negotiable whims. They are the minimum conditions for real survival. To force Ukraine to surrender territory now is to hollow out the sacrifices of its people and embolden Putin to return. To tie Ukraine into a half-baked security guarantee with unclear rules is to invite humiliation later, not only for Ukraine, but for whatever countries happen to be trapped in Ukraine at the time. There's another irony here. Trump's self-congratulation in Washington contrasted sharply with the continued shelling of Ukrainian cities at the same moment. This alone should remind us that Putin hasn't conceded anything of substance at all. The Kremlin's statements since Anchorage have been vague at best, obstructive at worst, and the suggestion that Putin has accepted Western guarantees is a triumph of spin over fact. So yes, a peacekeeping force, a reassurance force, may yet have a role. It's a very positive idea, but only if it is built around a principle of deterring Russia rather than accommodating Russia. Only if it supports Ukraine's sovereignty rather than policing Ukraine's surrender. And only if Europe, not Trump alone, sets the terms. So, Ukraine at the moment is not defeated. Russia is weakened, and the propaganda that says Trump's plan is the only way out should be recognised for what it is: pressure to secure a premature settlement that suits Moscow. The true challenge is to build a peace that deters, not rewards aggression. And that will take patience, resources and clarity of purpose. And yes, this may well be a very good starting point. But it's a starting point, and to turn round and say, oh, Ukraine is losing, without this clarity, without these resources and patience, peacekeepers will not reassure Ukraine. They will reassure only Putin.